Well, Jim, I'm sure you can understand probably more than most segments on SmackDown. We heard feedback from people dying to hear what you were going to say about. I saw it live. I watched as it happened and I couldn't believe what I was watching. I wanted to know what you were going to think of this. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair with Nick Aldis standing there watching this transpire.
No, no, wrong guy with the accent. It was Barrett, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Wade Barrett. That's right.
It was
That's
Barrett. Well, they all look alike over there. But yeah, Charlotte and Tiffy, and this honestly, I mean, I don't know what ill will there is between these two women, but the ability for this thing to go sideways and off the rail was Charlotte's fault for letting the people get to her and make it obvious to where that it derailed what they were trying to do, and potentially then was Tiffy tiffed, or was she pissed off? They were both brought to the ring by Wade Barrett. Bad news, because they've got the upcoming Clash of the Titans, and they're going to do an interview segment. And obviously, the point of the thing was that they were going to be catty to each other. That's kind of the gist of the whole thing. But for whatever reason, people have taken to Tiffy, despite the fact that she was presented pretty much as a heel there along. They took to her I don't know, the screechy voice and the delivery and she's obviously working hard, right? I'm not saying she's slacking off, but she's a gymnast that they've taught to do some moves, and they've thrust her into this situation. And to me, she has a look on her face like, what the fuck is this? And what am I doing here a lot? And the voice, because was supposed to be, originally her gimmick was the annoying, rich, quasi Paris Hilton type of douchebag that you want to choke when you see him on TMZ, right, Brian? It was that was the original presentation of her, and then the people said, well, we like her.
I don't know about the douchebag you want to choke. I don't know. Again, I don't know about your TMZ viewing habits. I don't know what exactly you're watching over there, but.
Well, the foo-foo girl with the Tiffy time and everything, it was supposed to be, not favorable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what you call it at this point. The Valley Girl or whatever it is, but WWE fans watched her through NXT. I will say, unlike a lot of the girls that you see on NXT then and now, she has a little bit of size, and she's pretty good in the ring. So I've actually, again, this is her gimmick.
Well, I'm not saying
crazy about the gimmick, but I've actually found her to be, I can understand why the fans have taken to her. She's pretty good.
I'm not saying she's B-Fab. I'm saying that you can tell that they just kind of pulled this athletic young girl who probably didn't have a lot of product knowledge into this thing, and I can see it in the ring. But the point is the voice and the delivery, but they like her, okay. Well, meanwhile, here comes Charlotte, and they don't like her, and they're in Chi-Town, not Charlotte, and the people started booing her as they do Dominic, as they do when they decide. Same thing. They decided they like Tiffy, so now they decided they don't like Charlotte, and they're going to boo the shit out of her. But she let it be obvious that it was getting to her. I mean, she was trying to do the start. She said about Tiffany, she wanted a moment, and I hadn't done any charity work lately. She's trying to, speak down to the greenhorn there.
Well, it started right off the bat. As soon as the fans started booing and they were both in there, and the boo's just like, it was like a growing boo.
Yeah,
it it just kept growing and getting bigger and louder. And she said, that's power. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting way to try to say, fuck that, let's get to what we're doing. And then Tiffany goes, what time is it? And I've never heard it this loud before. It's Tiffy time! Like, just everyone screamed it. I was like, okay, they've got a really live, active crowd into this. And then the booing did not stop.
Yes, well, but then that's the thing, is they started trying to do their stuff, And when Charlotte, the people would boo Charlotte, but in this program, you heard people getting on, the guys in the last segment getting on with their shit when the people are booing because it's shit that needs to be said. And yes, you can milk it, but not when the problem became that Charlotte stopped with the people and started addressing them more than staying with the fucking flow of the moment. And she let them slow her down. She not only did that, but they saw that they were stopping her and they were interfering with her. Here's another thing that I've seen a few times here lately when somebody will say, start a sentence, and then the people react, and then boo or whatever, and they stop and milk that, but then they start back with the same words again. You can tell not only was it a prepared statement instead of something you were saying off the cuff, but also we interfered with you. And then they want to do it more. And instead of her paying attention to what they were doing and letting the people do their thing, which you would think Charlotte's been around long enough to be used to being booed in the promos. But then, it was
a different animal. She's never been booed like this since her comeback. Since the Royal Rumble.
Then
she's never been
then
booed.
God damn it, enjoy it. Do you think Flair would have stopped when he was yelling at Dusty and Dusty was standing right there to fucking turn around and spend time on the people instead of shut up, fat boy? My shoes cost more than your house?
It's a new thing, though. Flair was never booed on the mic like that. I can't think of a time Ric Flair got on the microphone as a heel and people were just like, I don't want to hear him talk. Boo! Nonstop.
Well, part of this is that the people have decided not only are they singers, but they're also censors. And if it becomes a thing, and Dominic, that was the first one, remember, but then they've started doing that since then. If they decide that they don't want to hear from a guy and it's cool that all of them together can boo and shut him down and be part of the show, that's what they're doing. They're not even doing it a lot of times now because they really hate the person. If they really hate the person, it's just a groaning, shut the fuck up type of boo. We don't want to hear you talk. But this is audience participation. Some of them may think that's what they're supposed to do, but they like doing it. And if you show the people who are doing it that it's going to flummox the fuck out of you, then they've got you. And then that's what they tried to get back to it. Charlotte made fun of Tiffany's voice because she was trying to screech over the den about the match. And I wrote here, Tiffy trying to get back to promo. But then she popped up and said, Charlotte, after WrestleMania, it's going to be, your life is going to be just like it is outside the ring, alone. What's your record now? 0-3? And then she dropped down and bailed out of the ring so that Charlotte had to run to the ropes to try to get the last word, which obviously wasn't scheduled because she's running after her going, was that why Kaiser's in my DMs? Which is the way the young people say they're attempting to fuck behind somebody's back, right?
Which was the reveal on the show that Tiffany's dating Kaiser. That's never been a thing before said on the air.
Well, because we don't keep track of her DMs either. But there's a lot of direct fucking going on.
When she said you're 0-3, before she rolled out, she went, woo!
Oh, yeah, woo! And then, and now here's the thing. This girl is not, I mean, she may be a Rhodes Scholar and study astronomy. I'm not talking about she's stupid, but she's not experienced quick enough on television to have just come up with that on the spur of the moment because she was mad about the way the promo was going. She had to have that one already, didn't she?
Oh, I think there may be legitimate feelings with her and maybe even other talent with Charlotte. Absolutely.
Feelings. Whoa. Feelings.
The audio's cutting out. Your singing is too high pitched.
hey, it's just not able to handle I'm like one of those opera singers that can shatter glass. I've got the fucking
Oh,
0.1 percentile high octave thing going on here. But anyway, so Tiffy bailed out and rolled out and left Charlotte standing there with her microphone in her hand, trying to get that last line in, and it was hard to hear to begin with, and the recipient had already taken the shot at her and rolled out, so she couldn't get to her. So now are they going to have some cat scratch fever in their match? Are they going to get into it for real? Can we look forward to a shoot between these two?
probably not, but it definitely makes me more interested in the match.
I'd actually be more interested if I thought we were going to see a shoot between these two from all the other shit I've seen lately.
I'll say it, they have a Charlotte problem. I know you don't see it this way, but it's not just fans enjoying booing. It's fans who don't want to see her. And I don't know exactly what has caused it. I do think there are certain things that haven't helped. You know, not to make fun of it, not to bring it up for no reason, but you see enough people talk about it, and I've thought it too. When she comes back every time looking radically different, it's a weird thing. I think there's a little bit of that. I think for whatever reason, the fans right now are at a weird point, almost like AEW fans with Cody. You know, I don't know what she could do right now to stop this. I mean, get out of Chicago, maybe the first thing. But I think there is a little bit of a fan pushback happening here. Again, I don't know what they wanted. Who did they want Tiffany Stratton to wrestle? I don't even know if it's about Tiffany Stratton. I think it's a Charlotte thing independent of that. This happened to be an example of her colliding in this segment with the person that right now the fans have chosen. It rattled her bad. I mean, there were times where she stopped talking, and it was almost like you could see she's trying to think what... She was smiling the whole time, and she has her dad's smile, and she's just thinking, like, what should I say or do next? It was really awkward. And again, I don't know where they go from here. It got out that they edited it. When WWE put it on social media, the 0-3 line and the Kaiser's in my DMs line were both edited out of wherever they put it on YouTube and everywhere else.
And see, that's a sign right there to me. There was no profanity. There was no double entendre that would have taken it into the gutter. More harmful things are said on television all the time. That had to be a specific request from one or both participants. That, well, if you take hers out, you can take mine out, or vice versa. Because there was no other reason to do that otherwise than somebody in the segment said, what the fuck? Maybe both people in the segment said, what the fuck?
See, that's what I'd like to know. Where did it exactly go completely awry? Because she brought up this interview. Apparently Charlotte did an interview somewhere. I'm not sure what talk show it was, but apparently it's out there, where she talked about being divorced 3 times and she didn't want to be like her dad and various things. And then Tiffany brought it up in this thing. Was that planned? Because that's a public interview that's out there. People have talked about it. Or was that something she wasn't supposed to do? Like, where did this go? Okay, now you're bringing up shit you're not supposed to bring up. Was it just at the very end, or was it even before then?
When Tiffy said that line, she immediately dropped and rolled out like I used to when I'd give Wrestling 2 the last lash with the belt and I knew he was going to come for me. And then Charlotte trying to rush her retort in while the girl's already bailed out, that obviously wasn't walked through that way. So some or all of that had to be a spur of the moment.
Yeah, by the way, great job, Wade Barrett. What were you doing? Just
he was standing there going, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? It doesn't sound like it did in rehearsal. But to your point about Charlotte, I could understand if are they just revolting against her because she's always booked on top? Who is better? It's not like a Mercedes Moné type of thing where, she's hyped and pushed and all these other girls are so much better. Is it the Flair thing?
What
in
have we
general?
seen with Charlotte that's that good in a long time? She's almost never there. And when she's
Well,
there,
she was hurt for a year and a half. That's why I thought that people would be glad to see her when she came back.
you know, and again, now you start thinking about it, there were prior incidents. Remember there was the incident where her and Becky Lynch started going at each other in a promo on Raw?
I remember that. Yeah,
her and Nia Jax punching each other out in the middle of the ring. Remember that?
Yes, with the fridge. See, that's why she's on top, because she's the interesting one. There's always something going on. It's not just girl wrestling with Charlotte.
Do you think all the boos and all this behavior, it's just to set up Tessa being brought in as her partner?
Ooh, no, but I think you should say, when we're talking about a member of the Flair family, you should say all the booing rather than all the boos to differentiate.
Oh, that's true.
Just
I
keep
guess
an eye on that.
Booze has a
verbiage.
different meaning in the Flair family.
Well, that's why I want to be clear here. We're not.
Thank you for clearing that up. No, we definitely needed that clarity here.
And then I think they're going to bring in, they got a new girl in the training development center is the performance center. She's an Egyptian. They're going to bring her in to fight Flair.
Well, that would be the ultimate enemy of the Flairs. It's Ricky Steamboat and, of course, the Egyptian.
Yeah, I'm telling you. We were doing fine till the Egyptian showed up.
I'm sure the match will be good. I mean, but we'll see. Charlotte, as you think about it, the Royal Rumble and what else? She barely has worked in a very long time. And again, when I say she looks different, it's not just facial surgery. I mean, physically, she doesn't have... She used to have not a bigger frame, but she was like an athlete. Like, she doesn't look like...
Well, hold on now, cowboy. Before you put your foot in your mouth, What she's done is she is leaned up, is what you're saying. That's a nicer way to put it.
I guess so.
Well, but herein lies the problem. What you're also not going to see, for good, bad, or indifferent, is that moonsault off the top rope to the floor anymore, because she blew her knee. She's had a knee issue. She's got the brace. What did Terry Gordy do when he had 2 blown ACLs? Besides not get them fixed, he lost like 40 pounds. You try to lose weight as best you can and still retain, whatever look you're going for, and you eliminate shit out of your repertoire that requires stress, or not only landing on your knee, but landing on your feet in a dodgy situation from high heights. That's going to be something she's going to avoid. So I can't browbeat her for trying to drop some weight after a knee injury. A guy, girl, or animal, vegetable, or mineral does that, but it's not to the... We'll talk later on, but it's not to the point of Adam Cole. I don't know what's going on there. At first, I thought he might have been sick and I didn't want to say anything, but now he's wrestling 20-minute matches. He just weighs 140 pounds. But anyhow.
Did you see Ludwig Kaiser's response?
He didn't respond on TV.
No, he responded on social media.
He responded on the Twitter. What did he say there?
He took to Twitter, tagged Charlotte Flair, and posted a video of Shawn Michaels telling Diana Smith, "Please do not flatter yourself."
Oh!
Which you were there for, so you remember that moment.
Oh, my God. And boy, I can only imagine what Shawn would have said if Diana had said all the things she wanted to say.
Yeah, instead of Stu, you'd have Flair calling you up. You call my daughter a whore! Woo!
Yeah.
A whore!
Oh, you want me.
That was the best line. Shawn, I know that you want me.
Thank you.
The way she delivered it.
Thank you. So you should have heard. I'll tell you this real quick. We'll get on with the regular programming. But we were setting that up. And the storyline was, until Stu made phone calls, that somehow Davey and Diana were going to be working in collusion to set Shawn up to look like a I don't know what he was supposed to look like. I mean, even more of a prick than he already was back then, but that he was hitting on Diana and trying to come in between their marriage and acting salaciously or whatever the fuck. And we got there, and Diana had come up with, Diana, if you're listening out there, I love you. But she had come up with a rather lengthy statement about the whole situation that in her mind she thought would really bring some gravitas. I said, Diana, please, just listen to me. All you got to say is when it comes to you and you're looking at Shawn, and I've set up the principle of the thing, just say, Shawn, you know you want me. And just step back and let the people react. And she was kind of miffed because she wanted to do her scene, right? And she said, Shawn, you know you want me. And Shawn sold it with his face, and the people just, wow, bullshit, because he's been in Playgirl. And Diana was an attractive woman, but, he's curtsying around with Pamela Anderson on pay-per-view at that point in time.
With Vince on the rug.
Yeah, and I wonder where Pamela fit in that equation.
Jose should have dropped his pants and been like, it's me!
It's me!
Well, again, back to the Charlotte thing. They have the match coming up. We'll see how the fans react. I mean, we're right around the corner from WrestleMania, but on any of the TV shows. But, was it a one-time thing in terms of it going completely off the rails? Where the boos prevent her from being able to talk in front of a crowd? Dominic seemed comfortable with it. She completely did not.
Yeah, and that's what confused me, because with her experience, you would have thought Tiffy might have got rattled if it had been the other way around because she's brand new. But with Charlotte, the point is, it's still television, and you've still got to say that you're still promoting WrestleMania. You still got to say the things you need to say, and you can, if you're an adept heel, verbally with the Drew McIntyres or the Heyman when he's in that position, or Punks or whoever, you can drop back for a second and snipe with a fan every once in a while, or the fans, and still keep your role going. But if it's throwing you off that bad, you got the microphone, say the shit that needs to be said. If the crowd at home ain't listening, or not at home, but if the crowd in the arena ain't listening, the people at home can still hear you. Because it doesn't really work for a shoot that the fans in the arena can drown out the guy with the microphone. The audio guy is doing that too. Remember, I've talked about this when they started doing with Dominic. The audio guy was turning Dominic's sound down and the crowd sound up on purpose to make that impression, because that was more important than anything Dominic could have said at that point. But if you've got the microphone and the people in the truck are not victims of carbon monoxide poisoning, they can bring your audio up and the people in the arena cannot stop you from being heard at home. Have I made that point, Brian?
Yes.
Then why didn't she do it? All right. That's all I got to say about that. We'll see what happens if they get in a verbal or physical shoot here in the near future. I'd like to see that. And now Charlotte better watch out, because Tiffy's stocky and she's younger.
I put my money on Tiffany in a fight.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Charlotte's still a better worker, even if nobody doesn't like her.
Well, we'll see. Again, we haven't seen Charlotte work in a very long time, and they have really good women's workers there. Is Charlotte as good as Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair or Io Sky or Tiffany right now? We'll see.
Oh,
Liv?
I'm not saying at this point that Charlotte is better than Rhea Ripley, and I might even give you Bianca Belair. She's much more important for drawing some kind of money than Io Sky.
We'll see, because, the one thing she had that I always thought she had the greatest presence, just from the moment she came out of the back with the robe, walking out. I thought she had great presence. But if she's rattled and she loses that, I don't know what, again, let's see her work a match. We haven't seen her work yet. But that was a pretty concerning segment if you're a Charlotte fan, just in terms of how it appeared to affect her.